Chapter 31 Book Club, 9109655057. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Hey, bookworms! There's a group for fans just like you at 9109655057. Lots of folks are chatting there, so if you're interested, come join the fun. Quick note, I'm writing 2 books at once now, and there are a couple of other authors in the group too. Let's all keep it friendly and avoid any drama. Why 2 books? Well, life's throwing curveballs. I'm just trying to juggle a couple of projects. If this story isn't your cup of tea, no worries, but please don't come to the group just to trash it. I was totally off the grid for almost a week, so things have been pretty rough lately. The next chapter should be up around 11 tonight. Thanks a ton for all the support. Please vote. Chapter 32 Preliminary Round, please recommend on Monday. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The next morning, the Battle of the Prodigies was finally on. A wide-open square sprawled in front of the main campus. The morning mist still hung in the air, but a crowd of students had already gathered, mostly level 25 or higher heavenly talent students, with a sprinkling of heavenly power students mixed in. None of the Academy's top-tier heavenly combat soul masters bothered to show up. Today's event, the preliminary rounds of the Prodigy Battle, students at the heavenly combat level, boasting strength above level 30, earned a direct pass to the main event, a perk reserved for the Academy's best. Around the square, teachers in gold robes huddled in small groups, chatting. They were the referees for these preliminary rounds, tasked with keeping order. Down a quiet path leading to the main campus, a young man in black strode purposefully, a fiery-haired beauty struggling to keep pace. She chattered away, following him right into the competition square. The young man was, of course, Feng Xian, and the captivating redhead was his teacher, Rulin. Rulin was running down the list of precautions for the competition, her well-meaning advice nearly driving the taciturn Feng Xian crazy. All right, that's enough, Rulin finally said, a mischievous smile playing on her lips. She playfully poked Feng Xian's shoulder. Go get tiger. Aim for number 1. Feng Xian couldn't help but roll his eyes at her lack of faith. What was the point of entering a competition if you weren't aiming to win? A heavenly power student declaring his intent to take first place in the Prodigy Battle had been met with widespread ridicule. Students and teachers alike had dissolved into fits of laughter. Feng Xian hadn't bothered to explain. He just needed to figure out how to crush his opponents. Teacher, who's the strongest student at Heavenly Combat Academy? What level are they at? He asked, his gaze serious. He hoped to glean some useful intel. He wasn't worried about today's preliminaries. The participants were all in their 20s, with the strongest capping out at level 29. They posed no threat to him. No, the true young geniuses were his real rivals. The strongest, huh? Rulin tapped her chin, lost in thought. We've got some real hotshots this year. Yu Tianheng, from the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon Clan, and Chu Zhongtian, the Tiando Empire's little tyrant, are probably the best of the bunch. Both are already at level 37. Their martial spirits and soul rings are top-notch. They can even hold their own against level 40 soul sects. Yu Tianheng, Chu Zhongtian. Feng Xian muttered, already strategizing. He knew Yu Tianheng, the future captain of the Emperor Do team, hailed from the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon Clan, one of the 3 great sections. His Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon spirit was a formidable weapon, making him a force to be reckoned with. Chu Zhongtian, on the other hand, was a complete mystery, but if he was being mentioned in the same breath as Yu Tianheng, he had to be powerful. Level 37 soul power, combined with a top-tier martial spirit, meant he was on par with many ordinary soul sections. That was terrifying. Feng Xian's current level was too low. A head-to-head with Yu Tianheng or Chu Zhongtian would be a struggle, maybe even a loss. Oh, right, there's one more. Rulin frowned. He keeps a low profile, never shows his full strength, but he's not to be underestimated. Who? Prince Douglas, from the Barak Kingdom. Feng Xian raised an eyebrow, committing the name to memory. Be careful out there, don't bomb out in the preliminaries. Rulin clearly had high hopes for Feng Xian, hoping he'd make a good showing in the competition. Yeah, got it. Feng Xian nodded. Speaking of. Roland's lips curled into a mischievous grin, and she tapped Feng Xian's head. Feng Xian, if you actually manage to get first place, this beautiful teacher will give you, my first kiss. She knew that was a pipe dream. If Feng Xian even made it past the preliminaries, it would be a miracle. This was just a little jab to tease him. Instead, Feng Xian looked at her with disgust. Keep your first kiss for some guy who's actually pining for you. I'm not interested. A 26 or 27-year-old woman still holding on to her first kiss. Spinster alert. Feng Xian thought if they were back on Earth, her parents would probably be worried. How could she still be wandering around here so carefree? He watched the furious Roland stomp away, then leaned against the wall, calmly waiting for the games to begin. As time passed, the square filled with more and more students. As the clock neared 10 o'clock, the number of preliminary participants had ballooned to over 200, a staggering number. With so many contenders, it would take forever to determine the winners. Feng Xian groaned. Just then, a gray-haired old man walked onto the stage, cleared his throat, and announced in a booming voice that echoed across the square, "Quiet down, everyone. I'm the host of the preliminaries for this year's Prodigy Battle. After careful deliberation, the Academy has decided to use a knockout format this year." Knockout round? A murmur ran through the crowd of students. This year's competition is simple, a free-for-all. A massive brawl. Everyone around you is an enemy. Do your best to defeat as many opponents as possible before the incense stick burns out. When the incense burns out, the 50 contestants still standing will advance. If more than 50 are left. The old man's voice turned steely. Everyone will be eliminated. Chaos erupted again. This was forcing everyone to eliminate their opponents. 200 people in a free-for-all. Eliminate 3/4 of the contestants in the time it takes to burn one incense stick. These were probably the toughest preliminaries in history. Many of the students paled, their expressions turning grim. A big brawl? Interesting. Feng Xian's eyes gleamed, anticipating the mayhem. Chapter 33 Lu Wushuang, begging for recommendation votes. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Use any means necessary, no matter the cost, to take out as many opponents as possible. This preliminary round is a free-for-all. You can fight, ambush, or team up. The goal is to eliminate 150 contestants before the incense stick burns out, leaving only 50 qualified candidates. It's going to be brutal. The teachers have one rule: no killing. Every student at Tiando Academy comes from a powerful family. If something happens to them, it'll cause major problems for the academy. Plus, these students are the academy's future, and the teachers don't want them dying during a competition. With a stick of incense lit, the gray-robed elder glanced at the crowded arena below, cleared his throat, and announced, "Let the games begin. Remember, no one dies." As the starting signal rang out, the place erupted. Everyone's an enemy. Instantly, everyone tensed, scanning their surroundings. Boom. 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 Soul power surged, like a hurricane sweeping the field, as contestants summoned their martial souls and activated their soul rings: two-headed wolves, magic tigers, eagles, vines, hoes, rakes, knives, guns. The variety of martial souls was astounding. For a moment, the students' unique abilities created a dazzling spectacle. With over 200 people revealing their martial souls at once, the scene was breathtaking. Most of them were in their 20s, sporting 2 yellow soul rings. When they unleashed their soul rings simultaneously, a golden light illuminated the entire square. The war had begun. The wind howled, battle cries filled the air, and chaos reigned. Everyone's eyes were bloodshot, fighting tooth and nail for a chance to advance. In the thick of it was a lone wolf type, a black-haired young man cutting through the crowd, unstoppable. With each flash of his sword, he sent 3 or 5 people flying. Feng Xian locked his sharp gaze on a green-haired young man in his 20s and charged, his blood-dripping shadowless knife leading the way. This guy was tall and rugged, with a wolf-shaped martial soul flickering around him. The green-haired young man's soul power was intense, far stronger than those around him. He seemed to be at the peak of a great soul master, ready to break through to soul master any day. So, you want to mess with me, huh? I didn't come looking for you, but you came to me. You think you can bully Lu Wushuang? The green-haired Lu Wushuang spotted Fang Xian charging and laughed, oozing confidence. Lu Wushuang. That's Lu Wushuang. He's one of the top young guns among the Tianji students. I heard he's the favorite to win this preliminary round. Who's the idiot trying to pick a fight with Lu Wushuang? He's got a death wish. Many people steered clear of Lu Wushuang, not wanting to tangle with him. So, Fang Xian's bold move stunned them. Green. Wushuang. The whispers reached Fang Xian, and he faltered. He stopped 3 meters from Lu Wushuang, his face turning serious as he considered his opponent. Ha! You're scared now that you know my name. Lu Wushuang's arms were green, and the wolf spirit hovered above him. He puffed out his chest, glaring at Fang Xian. Back down now, and I'll let it slide. Save yourself some pain. Fang Xian stared at Lu Wushuang, silent for a moment, then said slowly, what a name. You gotta have some green in your life to make it good. But this green is really, green. This guy's the real deal. The man before him was intimidating. You little punk, you're asking for it. Lu Wushuang's eyes blazed, his mouth twitching. He missed the sarcasm in Fang Xian's voice. The wolf spirit roared, turning into a blue light that enveloped Lu Wushuang, making his already powerful physique even more imposing. His bulging chest, abs, and biceps strained against his top, revealing a body that rivaled any bodybuilding champion. Roar! Lu Wushuang roared, his green hair flying, dropping to all fours like a humanoid beast as he lunged at Fang Xian. Time to die, kid. Lu Wushuang was going all out, aiming to kill Fang Xian. Batakujutsu. Ice. The wind whipped at Fang Xian's black hair, revealing determined, cold eyes. He activated the ice phoenix spirit within him, unleashing an explosion of ice power. The shadowless knife pierced the air, carrying terrifying frost, and slammed into Lu Wushuang's steel-like body. Ack! With a scream, most of Lu Wushuang's body was frozen. He coughed up blood and went flying, knocked out of the ring with a single strike. The crowd went silent. The fighters nearby saw the scene and stopped fighting, staring in horror at Fang Xian's battlefield. No way. Lu Wushuang lost. One hit. Who is this guy? Fang Xian. I think his name is Fang Xian. He's a regular Tianwei student. He's the one who took down the Millennium Soul Beast. Then he beat Yi Liangchen and Long Outyan. Now he beat Lu Wushuang. This guy's too strong. The students buzzed with gossip. The teachers at the judges' table were excited. Teacher Rulin was especially surprised and pleased. Her eyes shone as she focused on Fang Xian, thinking, that sneaky kid was hiding something. Suddenly, Fang Xian's name was on everyone's lips at Tiando Academy. Many students gulped, looking at the cold young man with fear, instinctively keeping their distance to avoid crossing him. Fang Xian could have held back, but that knife would have frozen Lu Wushuang solid. He didn't care about the fame. He sheathed his sword and charged back into the densest part of the crowd, using the students to hone his sword skills. Soul power +1, +1, +1. With each draw of his sword, his power steadily increased. Chapter 34 Martial Soul Fusion Skill. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In the blink of an eye, half the incense stick was gone. There were still 150 contestants, but only 50 spots. 100 more people needed to be eliminated before the incense burned out, or everyone would fail and lose their shot at advancement. Crap, time's almost up. Gotta fight for it. The contestants went wild. They gave it their all, pulling out every trick to get ahead, attacking anyone nearby. Fang Xian, a whirlwind of energy, became a raging lion, attacking anyone and everyone, men and women alike. If you weren't looking for trouble, he was bringing it to you. Surrender meant nothing. He wouldn't let up. Like a storm sweeping leaves, Fang Xian dominated these 20-something contestants, overpowering all those around him. These weren't dummies, they were real people, and even the delicate girls weren't safe from killer star Fang Xian. The others, terrified of this menace, avoided him like the plague. Killer star Fang Xian quickly made a name for himself in the arena. Besides Fang Xian, others annoyed the crowd, like the young couple who held hands and fought side by side. Everyone else was fighting tooth and nail, but they were taking a leisurely stroll, all lovey-dovey, spreading the love even in the heat of battle. Many glared, seething with anger, but couldn't do anything because the couple were too strong. The boyfriend, Zhang Song, and the girlfriend, Lin Yali, were among the strongest Yanji-level students, with a soul power level of 29. They also had a strong affinity with their martial souls, enabling them to use martial soul fusion techniques. Even regular soul masters couldn't stand against them. Barring any major upset, Zhang Song and Lin Yali were sure to pass the preliminaries. They treated the whole thing like a game. Your hair's a mess. Zhang Song, smiling softly, pulled out a jade comb and gently smoothed her hair. Brother Song, you're so sweet. Lin Yali blushed and snuggled into his arms, completely lost in the moment. Just as everyone else reached their breaking point, a sharp blade sliced through the air, aimed at the couple. Who's there? Zhang Song shouted, and a dark eagle materialized around him. Lin Yali, startled, flashed a cold look, and a colorful lark appeared above her. The couple reacted quickly. As the blade came within 3 feet, they instantly activated their martial souls. They punched in unison, deflecting the strike. Wow! This is awesome! Finally, someone snapped and went after that sappy couple. Haha, who's crazy enough to mess with Zhang Song and Lin Yali? Cheers erupted at the sight of someone attacking the lovers. A cold, dark figure emerged from the crowd, black hair, black clothes, cold eyes, and a long white knife in hand. He radiated an icy aura, like a demon fresh out of hell. Killer star, Fang Xian. Everyone froze. Who would have thought Fang Xian would be the one to attack Zhang Song? Killer star versus the lovebirds. This was going to be good. Fang Xian stared coldly at Zhang Song and Lin Yali, his dark eyes emotionless, a slight frown on his face. He'd put everything into that strike, a surprise attack. He figured even an average soul master would have been knocked back, but these two had blocked it together. The power of martial soul fusion was impressive. His eyes gleamed with excitement, like he'd finally found his prey, and his whole body pulsed with fighting spirit. Damn, you almost hurt my precious Yer. Zhang Song, worried, touched Lin Yali's face, then glared at Fang Xian, shouting, Fang Xian. You got a death wish? You dare mess with us? If you so much as scratch my brother Song, I'll burn you to ashes. Lin Yali spat, locking her gaze on Fang Xian. Fang Xian snorted and said nothing, silently activating his ice phoenix spirit. Waves of icy power surged forth, frosting his blade. Since you're begging for it, don't blame us, your martial soul fusion. Zhang Song and Lin Yali exchanged a serious look and nodded. Auras radiated from their bodies, the eagle spread its wings, the lark soared into the sky. The two bird-like martial souls quickly merged, becoming a fearsome golden-winged rock. The intense spirit power sent shivers through the nearby crowd. Oh my god! Martial soul fusion. So powerful. This aura is way stronger than any regular soul master. Martial spirit fusion skills are terrifying. Everyone watched in shock and fear as the two martial souls combined. Even most Tiando-level students can't stand up to us, Fang Xian. You, a lowly Tianwei-level student, arrogant, ignorant, and stupid. Today, you'll learn the power of our martial soul fusion skills. Zhang Song and Lin Yali held hands, controlling the golden-winged rock as it soared overhead. It dove down toward Fang Xian. Martial soul fusion skill, Tianping Ben Lei break. Focus. Concentrate. Breathe. Facing the terrifying martial soul fusion skill coming from above, Fang Xian's eyes showed no fear, only calm. He channeled the ice power to its limit. The shadowless knife became coated in frost, sharp ice blades extending from the edge, and endless cold filled the air. Break, drawing upon the little bit of sword power he had learned over the years, he swung the frost-covered knife. As it cut through the air, space shimmered, triggering a hint of the power of heaven and earth. This was a higher level of swordsmanship, a step into the realm of sword power. Boom, the frost knife, carrying a hint of sword force, slammed into the golden-winged rock, and a terrifying storm of soul power erupted. Ah, how is this possible? Two screams pierced the air. Zhang Song and Lin Yali were sent flying in opposite directions, crashing into the walls on either side. The walls crumbled, and they lay unconscious, spitting blood. Only Fang Xian stood tall, like a pine tree. Great! Chapter 35 True Werewolf. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Time flew by, the incense stick was gone in a flash. Still, 60 people remained. The countdown was on: 10, 9, 8, 58 people. 57 people. 56 people. 55 people. 54 people. The final 3 seconds. Fang Xian's eyes narrowed. He unleashed a fierce shadowless knife strike, taking out 3 opponents in one fell swoop. 2 seconds to go, and 1 more had to go down. His sharp eyes scanned the crowd like a hawk, searching for the closest target as if it were buried treasure. You're it! Fang Xian's eyes lit up as he spotted a girl in purple. He immediately charged, blade raised menacingly. The girl in purple froze, then paled and screamed at the sight of him. After this brutal free-for-all, Fang Xian's reputation had preceded him. Everyone knew him. No one was safe. Beauty killer. Specializing in taking down girls. Public enemy number 1. A merciless killing machine. Cold-blooded, ruthless, and cruel. Didn't even begin to describe him. Seeing Fang Xian zero in on her, eyes gleaming, the purple-clad girl's face went white as a sheet. Fear washed over her, and she stumbled backward. If any other guy looked at her like that, she might think he was about to confess his undying love. But with Fang Xian, yeah right, he wasn't after her beauty, he was looking for a new punching bag. Wait, she begged, backing away. Mr. Evil Star, I give up. I surrender. Please, don't hurt me. Fang Xian frowned, his blade halting inches from her head. Just as she breathed a sigh of relief, Fang Xian's left fist shot out, slamming into her gut and sending the delicate beauty flying. Ouch! Her face contorted in pain, she shrieked and rolled across the ground, her beautiful dress gathering dust. She ended up sprawled in the dirt, looking utterly pathetic. Oh my God, it's Miss Dale. That's Fei Dyer, the top goddess of the Tianji students. Damn it, what does he think he's doing to our goddess? How could he? He's a monster. Worse than an animal. A wave of outrage rippled through the crowd. Seeing Fang Xian punch Fei Dyer sent the guys into a fury. They glared at him, wishing they could tear him limb from limb. They could almost accept him flirting with Dyer, but, knocking her out with one punch. What kind of move was that? How dare he? Now, everyone understood. Fang Xian was truly evil, so ruthless that he didn't even spare beautiful women. He was a monster. Fang Xian ignored the angry mob. He glanced at the incense stick on the referee's table. The timekeeper had just burned out. This is, without a doubt, the most exciting preliminary match I've ever witnessed. The gray-haired teacher scanned the 50 remaining contestants, his gaze finally settling on Fang Xian. A flicker of admiration crossed his face. I hereby announce that the preliminary round of the genius competition is officially over. All 50 remaining contestants have advanced. Yes, cheers erupted from the crowd. The contestants celebrated, relieved to have survived the 200-person melee and finally qualified for the genius battle. They'd get to face the best of the best. Everyone was pumped. Phew. Fang Xian let out a sigh of relief. He'd fought so hard, taking down 30 or 40 students himself. His soul power was drained, and his body was aching. He was exhausted, but he'd made it through the preliminaries. He wiped the sweat from his brow and checked his stats. The ultimate sword drawing system, host, Fang Xian, level, LV22, title, Great Soul Master, soul power, 36/220, proficiency, basic sword drawing technique, 99/100, God-given sword, 0, martial spirits, soul of ice phoenix, basic 60/100, soul of nine-hearted begonia, basic 5/100, talent, ice knife, healing knife. This battle had earned him a solid 34 soul power points. And even his ice phoenix spirit proficiency had increased by 3. It was way more efficient than practicing at home. A huge win. Fang Xian had also made another discovery: every time he successfully defeated someone, no matter how strong or weak, it was counted as a successful sword draw, instantly rewarding him with 1 soul power point. This would drastically improve his leveling speed. He smiled to himself, pleased. The preliminaries were over. The referee told the 50 finalists about the rules for tomorrow's official competition. Soon, everyone dispersed. Fang Xian, hands behind his head, steered clear of the crowd and headed toward the residential area to the north. Boom, starred a deafening thunderclap. Fang Xian jumped. A bolt of blue lightning shot toward him. Batakujutsu, he grabbed the handle of the shadowless knife, drew it, and slashed at the lightning, but to his surprise, an overwhelming force slammed into the blade, making it tremble violently. Fang Xian was knocked back. Who? His hand was cut, the blood running down the snow-white blade and staining it red. He was shocked. The power behind the attack was incredible, impossible to resist. He looked up and saw a young man in brocade robes, with sword-like eyebrows and starry eyes. He was wreathed in blue lightning and stared at him coldly as he approached. When Fang Xian recognized him, his eyebrows arched in surprise. Yu Tianheng. Chapter 36. Green is healthier. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yu Tianheng. A level 37 battle soul lord, born into the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus family. He's one of Tiando Academy's top geniuses and a favorite to win this year's tournament. Fang Xian looked at Yu Tianheng, his face turning serious, powerful, seriously strong. This guy was the real deal. Even in their brief exchange, Fang Xian had been at a disadvantage. Yu Tianheng was top tier, both in level and the quality of his martial soul. Even in his prime, Fang Xian would have a hard time winning, especially since Fang Xian was only level 22, a full 15 levels lower. Plus, he'd just come from a big fight, and his soul power was drained. Facing Yu Tianheng now meant certain defeat. You're Fang Xian. Yu Tianheng's eyes locked onto Fang Xian, cold and intense. Powerful soul force erupted from his body as a green dragon spirit manifested, roaring ferociously at the sky. Boom! 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 The force hit Fang Xian's chest like a crazed beast. Bang! He grunted, his right foot sliding backward, digging into the mud to absorb the impact. Though he gave ground, he stood tall. That's right. Fang Xian's black hair fell around his face, his gaze unwavering, locked on Yu Tianheng. He felt the pressure, but showed no fear. Not bad, a newcomer with some spine. Yu Tianheng nodded, then his expression darkened. But you messed with Yan Yan. I can't let that slide. I'm going to teach you a lesson. You need to learn some restraint, to not be so arrogant. You haven't earned that right yet. So, this was about Du Guyan. Fang Xian understood. Yu Tianheng was defending his girlfriend. Du Guyan had started the fight. Then, when she couldn't win, she tried to use her body to defile Fang Xian. It was low. Fang Xian felt justified. Du Guyan was the one who started it, but Yu Tianheng seemed unreasonable, so Fang Xian didn't bother arguing. Then let's go. He raised his shadowless knife, ready to fight. Hold up. Yu Tianheng raised a hand. Not today. You're exhausted from your last battle. Beating you now would be a hollow victory. We'll settle this in the arena. I'll defeat you fair and square. Fang Xian paused, a hint of amusement on his face. Yu Tianheng was, admittedly, acting honorably, not wanting to take advantage. A gentleman, for sure, but in this world, gentlemen were often the first to die. Tianheng, what are you doing? Why did you stop? You promised to teach this jerk a lesson. At that moment, 3 beautiful girls walked up, a stunning sight that could captivate any young man. They were Duguian, Yi Lingling, and Dyer, who Fang Xian had just defeated. Yen Yen. Yu Tianheng gave a wry smile. Fang Xian's not at his best. Beating him now wouldn't mean anything. You're such a fool. Dugu Yen grabbed Yu Tianheng's arm, looking annoyed. You don't need to show mercy to a despicable, shameless pig like him. Beat him down, stomp on him, spit on him to vent your anger. Her sharp and unruly nature was on full display, and Fang Xian couldn't help but frown. Classic victim blaming. She'd lost, but Dugu Yen was twisting the story. It was too much. Fang Xian decided he couldn't stay silent. Yu Tianheng, I'm really sorry about what happened the other day. Fang Xian looked directly at Yu Tianheng, his face sincere, and suddenly apologized. Yu Tianheng was stunned. Dugu Yen was taken aback. Yi Lingling and Dyer exchanged disbelieving glances. Fang Xian, apologizing? Was the world ending? Just as everyone was about to forgive Fang Xian, their expressions changed when they heard what he said next. I didn't touch your girlfriend on purpose. Fang Xian said with an innocent smile. Yu Tianheng. Dugu Yen. She jumped on me. I had nothing to do with it, Fang Xian said earnestly. You bastard, what are you saying? Yu Tianheng's eyes blazed, veins popping on his forehead. He glared at Fang Xian. What the hell did you do to Yen Yen? Hey, don't you know? Shouldn't Dugu Yen have told you the truth about that day? Fang Xian feigned embarrassment. Sorry, I've said too much. Just pretend nothing happened. Your girlfriend and I are totally innocent. Yu Tianheng was starting to freeze up. The more this guy talked, the worse it sounded. Yen Yen, what happened? His face turned green, and he looked at Dugu Yen. Don't listen to that idiot. Dugu Yen stamped her foot. Nothing happened between us. Exactly, Fang Xian chimed in. It was nothing, really. Don't worry about it. Yu Tianheng was about to explode. Fang Xian glanced at Dugu Yen's chest. You're lucky to have such a girlfriend. I can vouch for that, so rest easy. Yu Tianheng's face was ashen, his lips twitching. Vouch for that? How the hell did he vouch for that? Green. Green. Yu Tianheng suddenly felt like he was wearing a giant, green hat, one he couldn't take off. Chapter 37 The Engine of Public Outrage. You are listening at novelfull.audio. As a 21st century kid who's traveled through time and gotten a new life, who wouldn't check out the dark side and dig into some family history? Master those 2 subjects, and you're golden wherever you go. Fang Xian had a blast with his words today, pushing that golden boy Yu Tianheng to the point of turning purple and shutting down. Even Dugu Yen was fuming. Talk about stirring the pot. Yu Tianheng and Dugu Yen, still in their teens, were clueless about how harsh the world could be. Fang Xian chuckled to himself. Fang Xian, you jerk, what are you even saying? Dugu Yan's eyes blazed as she glared at him. Fang Xian, you've gone too far. You're ruining Yen Yen's reputation for no reason. Yi Lingling puffed out her cheeks, defending her best friend. Fang Xian, you evil star, I already gave up, but you still punched me, you villain. Scumbag. I'm not letting you off easy today. Daya was beyond angry. She wanted to tear Fang Xian apart. The 3 girls ganged up and charged at him. Oh, crap. This time, Fang Xian was speechless, and he couldn't help but curse. Even the gentlemanly Yu Tianheng was too busy distancing himself to say anything. He didn't expect the women to get so worked up. These 3 were the school's top beauties and all 3 ring soul masters. Dugu Yan's attack power and snake venom were super strong, and Daya was no slouch either. Plus, they had Yi Lingling, a top-notch healer, patching them up. Taking on all three was going to be rough. Roar! 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 Duguyan's purple hair flew as her green-scaled snake lunged, spewing a cloud of poisonous red mist, aiming for Fang Xian's neck with lightning speed. That snake was deadly, one bite and you drop dead. Fang Xian's sword flashed, striking the snake's head. The force sent it flying. Then, Duguyan's right foot came at his face. Fang Xian's eyes turned cold, and his left hand shot out, grabbing her ankle like a vice. A savage look crossed his face as he flipped his sword around, slamming the hilt into Duguyan's gut. The blow sent her flying. Before Fang Xian could catch his breath, Dyer was on him, her long hair swirled, a purple sword in her hand. 3 glowing soul rings surrounded her. Her beautiful eyes were full of rage as she glared at Fang Xian. Her purple sword energy was aimed at his head. She hadn't forgotten that punch he'd given her. She'd probably never get over it. Fang Xian parried her sword, and then, he punched Dyer in the stomach, sending the beauty flying for the second time. I swear, that evil star is seeing red. Damn it, why does this guy only hit the pretty girls? He's beaten up almost every beautiful girl at Tiando Academy. Onlookers were shocked and furious. Those girls were goddesses. Half the guys at the school would kneel and worship Duguyan and Dyer, but Fang Xian showed no respect for them and seemed to enjoy taking them down. People were outraged. Nine-hearted begonia. After Fang Xian dealt with Duguyan and Dyer, Yi Lingling held out her hands, and a pink begonia flower appeared, radiating a sacred light. It covered the 2 injured girls, quickly healing them. In seconds, Duguyan and Dyer were as good as new, back in the fight. Yu Tianheng, you're dead. Come help. Duguyan, realizing Yu Tianheng was just standing there, got even angrier and yelled at him. Yan Yan, I. Yu Tianheng looked embarrassed and stammered, I said I wouldn't fight Fang Xian today. A man has to keep his word, so, maybe another day. Go to hell, you idiot. Duguyan rolled her eyes, thinking Yu Tianheng was hopeless. She gritted her teeth, gave up on him, and joined Dyer and Yi Lingling to teach Fang Xian a lesson. Those girls were like tigers. Soul power surged, the wind howled, and battle cries filled the air. Under the girls' fierce attack, Fang Xian was sweating bullets. He couldn't take much more. He'd been fighting non-stop and was running low on soul power. Now, with Duguyan and the others ganging up on him, he was getting weak and might lose at any moment. Ha, Fang Xian, you can't handle it. Duguyan, seeing that Fang Xian was getting sluggish and unsteady, smirked and aimed a punch at his head. When I get my hands on you, I'll feed you 72 poisons a day, so you'll wish you were dead. She hissed. Give up. Fang Xian, you're done for. Dyer struck with her sword. Nine-hearted begonia. Heal everyone. Seeing the situation, Yi Lingling cranked up the healing. Hey, wait a minute. Fang Xian was dripping with sweat. Facing the 3 tigresses, he finally cracked and tried to reason with them. Look, I've got no beef with you. If you can't beat them, try to talk it out first. Once his soul power came back, he'd deal with them one by one. That was the plan. No beef. The 3 women exploded. You touched me. Duguyan snarled. You hit me. Dyer said. You cut me. Yi Lingling said, oh. Fang Xian was stunned. This was a major misunderstanding. He always kept his nose clean and never chased after girls. Why were all these women coming after him? Ugh, so frustrating. People were whispering, giving Fang Xian dirty looks. How many hearts had this jerk broken to have 3 of the Academy's goddesses ganging up on him? Many were outraged, convinced Fang Xian was the lowest of the low. So, on top of being known as Evil Star, Fang Xian got a new nickname, Scumbag Fang. Chapter 38 Public Enemy. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Unconsciously, I've absorbed so much hate. Fang Xian looked at the 3 angry girls and, fueled by pure spite, felt a surge of energy. Beauty is ripe for the plucking and the cutting. Batakujutsu, Ice. Knowing this was his best shot, Fang Xian tapped into the last of his soul power. He poured everything he had into a single, desperate ice knife attack. A wave of intense frost erupted, slamming into the ground with a deafening roar. A cloud of icy vapor and dirt shot skyward, completely obscuring the girl's vision. TCH. Damn it, I can't see squat. Duguyan, Yi Langliang, and Dai were livid, trapped in Fang Xian's smokescreen. When the cloud finally cleared, Fang Xian was gone. Fang Xian, you lowlife, I'll never let you get away with this. Her furious yell echoed across the sky. Tiando College, Backwood Stream. Those girls are like tigers. Fang Xian collapsed by the stream, exhausted. He finally managed a sigh of relief. He'd barely escaped. He'd have been tortured to death by Dugu Yan and her crew of heartless broads. And now he was worried. Thanks to Dugu Yan and her friends, he was effectively homeless, unable to return. Where did that scumbag Fang bolt to? Spread out, look everywhere. Whoever catches Fang Xian gets to date the 3 goddesses. Hold your horses, he's mine. Fang Xian is the perfect gift to give the goddesses. The excited chatter rising from nearby made Fang Xian's newfound relief vanish. He looked towards the sound and spotted a group of guys rushing towards the backwoods. There were about a dozen of them, all powerful soul masters. Each radiated a powerful aura. They were all top-tier prospects from Tiando Academy. Fang Xian's mouth twitched. Even in his prime, facing a dozen soul masters would be a beating. Now, drained of soul power and physical strength, he was just a punching bag. TCH. Those girls are dirty players. They're using their looks as bait, getting every student in the school to hunt me down. Fang Xian spat. No doubt it was Dugu Yan and the others leveraging their popularity to rally the whole student body to his demise. That was just low. Bunch of simp lords, I hope you all stay single forever. Fang Xian muttered, scrambling up from the stream. He quietly slipped into a nearby old tree, hoping to avoid their attention. If these guys, blinded by beauty, caught him, they'd probably tear him limb from limb. Ha! That's odd. I saw the scumbag run right here. Where did he vanish to? The young soul masters scoured the backwoods, carefully searching for any sign of Fang Xian. Nothing will keep me from dating Dugu Yan, she's mine. A chubby guy with a bloated body and a greasy face was drooling, his tiny eyes narrowed. He was so focused on dating Dugu Yan, he forgot to wipe the slobber dripping to the ground. Everyone knew Dugu Yan was Yu Tianheng's girl, but this guy was still thirsting for her. Gross, just gross. Fang Xian, oh Fang Xian, I owe you big time. Without you, how would I ever get such an opportunity? I can pick from any of the 3 goddesses in the academy, hee. The chubby guy, looking a little tired, went to rest under a big tree and muttered to himself, for my happiness, Fang Xian, step right up. Lost in his happy daydream, he tilted his fat face up, then, a big foot slammed down from the tree, connecting squarely with his face. Ouch, that killed me. Who the heck? The chubby guy was driven face first into the dirt, blood gushing from his mouth and nose. He writhed and screamed on the ground. Damn, fatty, I almost wanted you to get your wish, but sadly, I'm not tribute material. Fang Xian ground his heel into the chubby guy's face, leaving the young soul master stunned. To be honest, he would have enjoyed seeing the train wreck that would be Dugu Yan on a date with this clown. The Viper girl would be spitting venom. And Lu Tianheng would be even more furious, but he didn't have time to mess with Dugu Yan. A dozen soul lords were closing in. His only priority was to escape. After kicking the soul lord in the face, Fang Xian was gone. He slammed his right foot into the ground, launching himself high into the air and quickly fleeing towards the northwest. There he is. That little scumbag showed his ugly face. Quick! Don't let him get away. All at once, get him. The dozen young soul masters went wild, chasing after Fang Xian. This was about dating the goddesses, worth fighting for. Fang Xian. Don't chicken out, give us your best shot. A blonde guy dogged Fang Xian's steps, yelling taunts at the top of his lungs. Fang Xian rolled his eyes. You want me to fight a dozen soul masters at once? You're out of your mind, that he couldn't waste time on these idiots. He sped up, sprinting like a maniac to shake them loose. Coward, scum, all you do is run. Seeing that words had no effect, the group of students whipped out their best moves, some breathed fire, some conjured water spouts, and some just threw out their farming tools as spirits. They really were going all out to capture Fang Xian. A barrage of wild attacks covered Fang Xian in dirt. His clothes were ripped, and even the left side of his hair was singed. He hadn't taken any real damage, but he looked like he'd been dragged through a hedge backwards and was seriously pissed. You morons! Fang Xian's face was pale. He darted behind a boulder and stopped short. He placed his hand on the hilt of his sword, drew it with a flash, and blasted away 2 or 3 of the closest soul lords. Then, without looking back, he ran again. The sword draw had drained the last bit of soul power he'd managed to recover, but it taught those arrogant guys a lesson and made him feel a little better. For a full day, Fang Xian was chased all over the college by over 400 boys. It wasn't until late at night that he hid in a secret cave, finally shaking off the pursuit. Du Guyan started this mess. Fang Xian felt he had to teach that snake a lesson she wouldn't soon forget. Sun Tzu said, daytime retreat, nighttime raids. Fang Xian sat cross-legged in the cave, quietly meditating to rest. He was replenishing his lost soul power, getting ready to raid the camp. Man, it was great not having internet for 10 days. Oh, by the way, I'm running low on recommendation votes, only a dozen or so a day. Guys, please give me some votes, I'm going to starve to death. Chapter 39 The group destroys the girls' dormitory. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The night was lonely, a black mist blanketing the starry sky. Only starlight and moonlight managed to pierce the darkness and touch the still earth. Jiando Academy, girls' dorm. A shadowy figure slipped silently into the girls' dormitory, weaving quickly through the rows of buildings. His sharp eyes scanned the unfamiliar rooms. When he spotted dorm room 09, Fang Xian's eyes lit up. He stepped onto a branch, his body floating weightlessly through the air, landing silently at the door. As soon as he opened it, a wave of perfume hit him. The smell was overpowering, almost making him sneeze. He held it in, stepped carefully, and slipped quietly inside. It was late, and the 4 girls were already asleep. Holding his breath, Fang Xian moved lightly, sneaking into the room without waking anyone. Their sleeping positions were something else. One girl with long legs was sprawled out, half a thigh hanging off the bed. Another, with brown hair, was snoring like a string of firecrackers. Fang Xian couldn't believe he'd gotten this far without being caught, especially with that brown-haired girl leading the charge. A few steps further in, the fat girl on the left had kicked her blanket off, her hands digging into her armpits as she mumbled in her sleep. This was his first time in the mysterious girls' dorm. But this sacred place in the minds of boys wasn't as glamorous as he'd imagined. These girls, who usually looked so put together, turned into a sloppy mess at night, a real eye-opener for Fang Xian. If he had his phone, he'd record this and put it on TikTok. It would go viral, of course. He'd probably get a visit from the cops, too. Shaking off the thought, Fang Xian found his target in a bunk in the back. On the right side of the balcony, the purple-haired girl was curled up on the bed, clutching a golden silk quilt, her pale skin glowing in the dim light. Du Guyan. A cruel glint flashed in Fang Xian's eyes. He'd finally found the snake girl. He'd been hunted all day, unable to go home, completely miserable, all thanks to Du Guyan. Tonight, his main goal was to give her a lesson she wouldn't forget. Beat her up, kidnap her and dump her on the street, sell her to human traffickers. Fang Xian hadn't decided yet. Whatever. He'd kidnap her first, take her to a deserted grove, and then, with a dangerous smirk, Fang Xian started toward Du Guyan, his expression menacing. Heh, Du Guyan. You're mine now. Fang Xian gave a classic villain's chuckle and reached for her. Just then, Fang Xian, a scream tore from Du Guyan's throat, nearly making Fang Xian jump out of his skin. he froze, cold sweat pouring down his face. His heart hammered against his ribs. He felt like he'd narrowly escaped death, guilty conscience. Usually, he could kill without a second thought. But Dugu Yan's roar had him thinking he'd been caught. He glanced around, seeing that the other 3 girls were still dead asleep. Then he looked at the girl in front of him. Dugu Yan's eyes were closed tight, still sound asleep. The scream must have been a dream. How much does this woman miss me, calling out my name in her sleep? Yu Tianhen would be furious if he knew. Fang Xian's mouth twitched. He knew Dugu Yan was shouting his name because she hated him, not because she missed him. Snatching a large sack from his space ring, Fang Xian wasted no time, shoving it over Dugu Yan's head, stuffing her inside, and hoisting it onto his shoulder. Ah! Who is it? That Dugu Yan was a soul master. She didn't stay asleep for long. She woke instantly, kicking her legs and struggling wildly. Shut up! Fang Xian's face darkened, and he smacked her but hard, the sound echoing in the room. Ah, you bastard, Fang Xian. I'm going to kill you. Recognizing that voice, Dugu Yan knew it was Fang Xian, out for revenge. Soul power surged through her, and her green-scaled serpent spirit broke free, trying to tear through the sack. Freeze! Fang Xian pulled out the shadowless knife and used its freezing power, instantly encasing half the sack and Dugu Yan inside an ice, stopping her soul power. Then he whacked her hard on the back of the head with the knife handle, knocking her unconscious. Who are you? The long-legged girl stood behind Fang Xian, eyes wide and confused, pointing a finger at him. She looked like she'd just woken up and hadn't realized that this was some kind of kidnapping. Bang! Fang Xian turned and punched her in the eye, knocking her out cold. Damn it! Who is this guy? Thief! Get him! The commotion woke the other girls. They jumped up, raised their fists, and charged at Fang Xian. TCH. You asked for it. Not wanting a fight, Fang Xian's eyes hardened. Golden soul power swirled around him, radiating out like the sun. He swung the shadowless knife, knocking the fat girl back with the flat of the blade. Then the brown-haired girl attacked, throwing a powerful punch at his head. His reflexes kicking in, Fang Xian dodged the punch and drove his knee into her stomach. She cried out and crumpled to the floor, unconscious. With the girl's dorm trashed, Fang Xian quickly fled with his loot. Chapter 40 Asking for recommendation votes on Monday. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Okay, it's the last week for the new book push, so I'll be posting 2 updates today. I'm asking for you to hit that recommendation button and help get me on the new release list. The internet's been down for over 10 days, and the phone company hasn't even bothered to fix it. Yesterday, the local office called and told me our area is special. Turns out the main fiber optic cable is busted. They said a regular tech can't fix it, they need a whole construction crew. It'll take forever, and customer service basically told me it might not even be fixed in another week, so, they suggested I just get a refund. I'm so pissed. After waiting 11 freaking days, they tell me to just get my money back. I'm speechless. Why did I even bother signing up so early? Today I got caught in the rain running to the nearest internet cafe. I signed up for China Unicom broadband. It's like $8 a month. The card's activated, and they should install it tomorrow or the next day. Ugh, I'm exhausted. I know these last couple updates have been rough. You can rip them apart all you want, I don't care. But I'm really asking you guys to vote for this book. It's super important, it impacts the quality of the work and keeps me motivated. Thanks, everyone.